दानादृढां भुवनस्य स्फुतिर्देवगुं शर्मयगुं सदस्मिन् हवे पुरोदः पुरुक्षो सनः प्रजायन्द्राग्निभ्यामो बाधामहेतान् पतवो रुद्रादित्या उपरिस्पृशं मोग्रञ्जिन्नो यज्ञभेजस्वास्य जावरणो ध्रुवं देवो बृहस्पतिः ध्रुवं इन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च राष्ट्रं धारयतां ध्रुवम् पर्वत इवाविदाजलिः देवेह ध्रुवस्तिष्ठा यः राष्ट्रमुधारया अभिदिष्टमृतं यतः अधरे सन्तु शत्रवः इन्द्रैव पुनर्नः पाहि विश्वतः सह विश्वप्रिया विश्वस्परी नेकस्तेन आदित्या आज्ञानवि इंद्रदेव रुद्राधिष्ठा अपक्षे इंद्रयेन मतिधरः
ముందుగా Please give space, please. Please, కొంచెం.
I request the honorable ministers and the dignitaries to kindly come onto the dais. The honorable minister for science and technology and the honorable minister for culture, tourism and development of Northeast region, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji and G. Kishan Reddy garu. A big round of applause, please. Dr. Kalai Selvi, Dr. Satish Reddy, Dr. Shekhar Mande, Dr. Rajit Chaudhary, Mugdha Sinha, and last but not the least, Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy. May I request Vanita to kindly get the bouquet and the Uttariyam and hand it over to Dr. Kalai Selvi, who will in turn felicitate and greet Kishan Reddy garu. Madam Kalai Selvi is greeting the Honorable Minister for Tourism. Greeting Dr. Jitendra Singh. I request Ms. Yamini to kindly hand over the bouquet to Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy, Director, CSIR-IICT, who in turn will greet our Director General, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi. I request Ms. Shalini to hand over the Uttariyam and the bouquet to Sri Samarendra Kumar, Deputy Director General of NCSM, who in turn will greet Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, a former Director General of CSIR and Chairman General Body of the NCSM. Dr. Samarendra Kumar greeting Dr. Shekhar Mande. I request Maunika to get the Uttariyam and the floral bouquet and hand it over to Samarendra Kumar, who in turn will felicitate Dr. Satish Reddy, former Secretary DDRD and D, former Chairman DRDO and former Security Advisor to the Raksha Mantri, Government of India. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause to Satish Reddy garu. Last but not the least, I request Ketana to get the Uttariyam and the bouquet and hand it over to our Director, Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy, who in turn will greet Mugdha Sinha, the Joint Secretary of NCSM. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, madam, for doing the honors. Ami Chaudhary Saheb ke anurodh korchi, Shomabesh ke Shambodhan koror jone. Welcome address by Sri Arjit Dutt Chaudhary. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Arjit Dutt Chaudhary, Director General of NCSM.
Namaskar. Respected Sri G. Kishan Reddy garu, Honorable Union Minister of Culture, Tourism, Development of Northeast Region and President NCSM, respected Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Honorable Union Minister of State, Independent Charge, Ministry of Science and Technology, Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pension, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Space, and Vice President CSIR, Dr. Shekhar Mande ji, former Secretary DSIR, as well as former Director General CSIR and presently the Chairman of the Governing Body of NCSM, Dr. G. Satish Reddy garu, former Secretary Department of Defense R&D, former Chairman DRDO, and former Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri, Government of India, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi, Secretary DSIR and Director General CSIR, Dr. D. Srinivasa Reddy garu, Director CSIR-IICT, Srimati Mugdha Sinha, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Sri Samarendra Kumar, Deputy Director General, NCSM, distinguished guests, members from print and electronic media, my dear students and respected teachers. On this auspicious occasion of the foundation stone-laying ceremony of the Science Experience Center at the CSIR-IICT campus being developed under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, under the scheme for promotion for culture of science. This is the first science center in this scheme in the state of Telangana. So it's a wonderful news that we have launched a science center in the state of Telangana. It is a great honor to welcome Sri G. Kishan Reddy Garu, our Honorable Minister, for his untiring efforts and keen interest which has made this project possible. So I would like to thank you and convey our gratitude for your gracious presence in spite of your very busy schedule. So it is your sheer determination and keen interest in the activities of NCSM which has been the driving force for making this possible. It also gives me immense pleasure to extend a hearty welcome to Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, our Honorable Union Minister of State, Independent Charge, Ministry of Science and Technology, Minister of State, Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pension, DOPT, Atomic Energy, Space, and Vice President CSIR. Thank you, sir, for sparing your time and being with us here today. We are extremely grateful to have with us Dr. Shekhar C. Mandeji, Chairman, Governing Body, NCSM. Thank you, sir, for keeping our request to be present here today for this very important program. We are very honored to welcome Dr. G. Satish Reddy Garu, former Secretary, Department of Defense R&D, former Chairman, DRDO, former Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri. He has been a source of inspiration for all of us, and time and again we have sought his advice in respect of developing new science centers across the country. I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. N. Kalaiselvi, Secretary DSIR and Director General CSIR, for joining us today for this historic event of our joint collaboration in setting up of the first Science Experience Center in CSIR campus. Srimati Mugdha Sinha, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Culture, has been constantly extending all required help to get this project on ground, and I extend a very warm welcome to you for your presence here today. I also cordially welcome Dr. D. Srinivasa Reddy Garu, Director, CSIR-IICT Hyderabad, who has been constantly working with us, supporting us to ensure that this project can be launched, and I'm extremely grateful to you for all the support that you have been extending during the last few months to make this possible. I welcome my colleague, Sri Samarendra Kumar, Deputy Director General, NCSM, and who looks after the scheme for promotion of culture of science of the ministry on behalf of NCSM. I extend a warm welcome to all our distinguished guests here, members from the print and electronic media, for the young students for whom this Science Experience Center is being developed, for our respected teachers. We cordially and heartily welcome you here today. I'll just give a little brief about NCSM. We administer 26 science centers and museums spread all over the country, and it is the largest network of science centers and science museums in the world. We implement this scheme for the promotion of culture of science. In short, we call it as SPOCS, for developing new science centers, science cities, and innovation hubs across the country, and also support modernization of existing centers that we have developed and handed over to different state governments. Yes. The first two science and technological museums, we call it as the Industrial and Technological Museum, started under CSIR. The first was in Kolkata in 1959 and the second in Bangalore in 1965. The third was in the making at Mumbai when the Planning Commission decided that there should be a separate body to look after the Science Museum movement, and that is how NCSM was born out of CSIR. So this collaboration is basically, I call it as a collaboration between the mother and child, and I'm sure over the years we will jointly take this forward to many more CSIR labs across the country. Thank you, and I again welcome all of you for this program today. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Director IICT will give his address.
Good evening, all. So, first of all, thank you for coming in big numbers. Honorable Minister Sri Kishan Reddy Garu, Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, and all the dignitaries on the stage and off the dais, and my colleagues, students, and all the directors, heads from different organizations, and all the guests. So I welcome you all on behalf of IICT for this great occasion. First of all, I would like to thank both the honorable ministers and also present and former Director Generals of CSIR for identifying CSIR labs in Hyderabad as a place to set up Science Experience Center, and also for gracing this today's event. The vision of our leaders to establish this center in this part of the country has a great significance because of the fact that Hyderabad is a hub of science and technology, research and development, many universities, institutes, clusters of industry and startups, apart from galaxy of many learning centers here. The presence of Science Experience Center is going to be another feather in the cap of not only in Hyderabad, but also in the entire nation to create interest, inculcate scientific temper among young students and also in a common public. So as a result, the center would be a major tourist attraction once it is developed and open to the public in next couple of years. It is a perfect location to establish this Science Experience Center in front of metro station on the road connecting several science institutions, ICMR's NIN, CSIR's IICT, CCMB, NGRI, DST, Survey of India, and DBT, CDFD. So we are in discussion among the institutes located in this very road, and also with the metro authorities about naming this entire stretch as a science corridor. So now we are adding this Science Experience Center here. In future, of course, Science City is going to come up. I'm sure it is going to be a great scientific attraction for the future generations. On behalf of all three directors of CSIR laboratories, Dr. Vinay and Dr. Prakash are here. So I assure you that we will shoulder all the responsibilities along with NCSM to develop this center as one of the best places of science experience and celebrations in the city and also in the country. The NCSM, Ministry of Culture, has a lot of experience in building such centers, and I am very confident that it's going to be a great place. So due to time constraints, I would like to conclude here, and I'm looking forward to hear from the dignitaries on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your address. I now request Srimati Mugdha Sinha, the Joint Secretary, Museums, Ministry of Culture, Government of India, to give her address. Ladies and gentlemen, Mugdha Sinha.
Namaskar and a very, very warm welcome and good afternoon. Extremely happy to be present here and very, very warmly welcome the Honorable Dais and acknowledge the gracious presence of our two Honorable Ministers, Shri G. Krishna Reddy Ji, Honorable Union Minister of Culture, Tourism and Development of the Northeast Region, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Honorable Union MOS with independent charge of Science and Technology of the Prime Minister's Office, DOPT, Atomic Energy, Space, and Vice President CSIR. I also very much acknowledge the presence of Dr. G. Satish Reddy Ji, former Secretary DDR and D, former Chairperson DRDON, and former SA to Raksha Mantri, Government of India, Dr. Shekhar Mandeji, Chairperson of the Governing Board of NCSM and former Secretary DSIR and former DG CSIR. Dr. N. Kalai Salvi Madamji, Secretary DSIR and DG CSIR. Our own people from the NCSM fraternity, Shri A.D. Chaudhary Ji, DG NCSM, Shri Samrendra Kumar Ji, DDG NCSM, and Dr. Srinivas Reddy Ji, Director CSIR-IICT. And I warmly bring greetings of the Ministry of Culture to all our august gathering here, scientists, academicians, industrialists, citizen scientists, students, friends from the media. Thank you very much. It's very heartwarming to see you come up in large numbers for the inauguration of this Science Experience Center in Hyderabad. The genesis of the Science Center, as has been mentioned by A.D. Chaudhary Ji, can be traced back to the signing of an MOU between the National Council of Science Museums and CSIR in September 2021 for setting up the Science Center in the premises of the CSIR-IICT, where NCSM has not only set up any science center till date across any of the laboratories. So this is one of its kind, first collaboration between science and culture. The state-of-the-art science center is being set up under the scheme for promotion of culture of science under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. The present scheme and its previous schemes have proven instrumental in not only setting up science centers in different parts of the country, right from Tier 1 down to Tier 3 cities, but also in developing scientific temper to a large extent. Science centers in Kottayam, Rajamundry, and Almora are almost ready for inauguration, and we work for development of more than 30 science centers and planetariums under the scheme, which is currently in the pipeline. We are trying to cover every nook and corner of the country. Science centers also play a very important role in supplementing formal education in a non-formal setting. The programs and activities of these centers engage a large section of society by providing edu-infotainment. With the development of a network of science centers, we hope for a more scientifically empowered society in the near future. I expect this coming Science Experience Center will definitely someday grow up to become Telangana's first science city and will make students more curious and creative. The center will have many galleries about different science topics using the latest technology to get more people interested. The use of artificial intelligence and robotics will make learning much more fun. Apart from the state-of-the-art immersive experience inside the center, visitors will also have the opportunity to learn and engage through many hands-on and mind-interactive science park exhibitions while interacting with them. The center will be set up at an approximate area of 4,000 square meters with a cost of rupees 41 crores and will be fully funded by Government of India. I hope the center will be successful in developing a scientific temperament in Telangana and nearby areas and will play an important role in preparing the young minds for making contributions towards Viksit Bharat using the aegis of science. With that, I rest my address and thank you all for coming here and gracing this occasion. Jai Vigyan, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
அறிவியல் மற்றும் தொழில்துறை ஆராய்ச்சி கவுன்சிலின் இயக்குனர் தலைமை இயக்குனர் டாக்டர் கலை செல்வி அவர்களை கூட்டத்தில் உரையாறுமாறு கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன். Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Kalai Selvi.
Namaskar, Vanakkam, and pleasant evening to each and every one of you. Most respected and honorable Minister of Culture, Tourism and Donor, Kishan Reddy Garu. Most respected and honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji. Esteemed guests on the dais, of the dais, my CSIR family, my extended family, which is nothing but my Bharat family. Good evening to each and every one of you. Today is a very, very historically important day for the scientific organizations like CSIR. Why? Because Ministry of Culture is joining hands with Ministry of Science and Technology, and there is a very, very interesting inherent connect in this collaboration. Once upon a time, country India was known for its rich heritage and culture, which is applicable today and forever also. Why India should be identified in the global arena only for culture? India should be identified in the global arena for its indigenous science and technology also, and which is the bottom line and the dream point and the motto of Viksit Bharat 2047. Therefore, friends, what other great opportunity will be the right choice of platform to showcase that India's rich tradition and culture is joining hands with Indian science and technology, by means of which India's science and technology is going to rule the globe in the coming days through the science, technology, and innovation without compromising Indian culture and tradition. I think this center is one of such centers which is going to be the role model center. That's why they are naming it as Science Experience Centers. Friends, most of you will be thinking that why it is named as Science Experience Center. We have heard about Science Teaching Center, Science Learning Center, Science Coaching Center also. This is not a teaching center or a coaching center. This is an experiencing center. You have to experience science. Why? Because there are two things which could be sometimes touch and feel, sometimes you can only experience. One is science, the other one is nature. When we say that movement of electrons is electricity, and when we say that the copper wire is a good conductor of electricity, can we touch and feel? We cannot touch and feel. None of us have never touched electricity. Have we touched electricity, we will not be here. So certain things cannot be touched to feel physically. Such things can only be experienced. So science is one such subject wherein many things could be proven through experiments, many things could be demonstrated through data, whereas science is having yet another dimension which could be only experienced. And we want to offer that kind of an exciting experience to our kids, school children, college students, and research scholars, because country strongly believes that they are the future pillars of the country. They are the modern technocrats of the country, and they are the second-line leaders of Indian science, technology, and innovation. And therefore, we from CSIR, we thought that this is the greatest opportunity when both the honorable ministers have already given their consent. Then why CSIR should have any kind of a hesitation? Because we are here to touch the lives of common man through science, and our duty doesn't get stopped over there. We have to ensure that the future citizens of the country, especially the youngsters, should understand science, and they should be motivated towards science. Because, friends, I wish to say only two things and conclude my message. Number one is, 20th century was not in the favor of India, but 21st century is the century for India, and the 21st century is the century for Indian science and technology. Therefore, we have to really take this opportunity and live up to the expectation. And just yesterday, all ministers and all secretaries to Government of India, we had the great golden opportunity to spend 7 to 8 hours of brainstorming session with the Honorable Prime Minister. When the national leadership is able to dedicate 8 to 10 hours to listen to the strategies by means of which Viksit Bharat 2047 could be made as a successful model, therefore, friends, you and me, we definitely should rise up to the expectation. When the national leadership is giving that much importance to science, that much importance to science communication, that much importance to science dissemination, and when this kind of a coherence and coincidence is happening, we have to really, really respect it. And before I conclude, I want to say one more point. Not only Ministry of Culture is collaborating with science and technology, tourism is also now joining hands with science and technology. Days are not going to be there that tourism is going to get restricted with only historically important places. No, my dear friends, tourism is going to have wide coverage on scientifically important places also. So this is yet another good sign. And the last one is, Kishan Reddy Garu is the Minister of Donor, meaning is Northeast. Sir, whenever we are doing our science and technology, we always make it as a point that, what is it that my science can do to the common man of the society? How I can reach the unreached part of the country through my science and technology? How my science could be designed and it could be repurposed for women development? How it could be repurposed and made relevant to Northeast region and regio-specific applications also. Therefore, whichever way you think, whether it is tourism or culture or donor, I think we find our relevance and we find our every reasons to join hands with your ministry. And I should really, really, with folded hands, I wish to thank both the ministers for having made this particular event possible. And that too in the CSIR Institute rich city called Hyderabad. And thank you so very much for the opportunity. I'm really excited and more than excited to see the kind of support which is getting received for this particular thing. I wish this is the origin, and we will really come up with a number of success stories in the coming days. Thank you so very much. Namaskar. Jai Anusandhan. Jai Scientist, I would say. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your address. Mananiya Kendriya Rajya Mantri, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji ko.
And our very dear friend, Dr. Shri Kishan Reddy ji, DG CSIR, whom you just now heard, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi, Director Dr. Srinivas Reddy, Dr. Satish Reddy, Dr. Shekhar Mande, Mrs. Sinha, Dr. Chaudhary, senior members of the faculty, and friends. At the outset, I have to compliment you for this momentous occasion, as was being mentioned by Dr. Kalai Selvi. This is a historic occasion for more reasons than one. Also because I think it's one of the rare occasions when you have two ministries sharing the same platform under the same roof, which usually does not happen. And that is also a reflection of the integrated approach which is being sought to be followed by this government headed by Prime Minister Modi, and is also a reflection of the whole of government mantra given by Prime Minister Modi. I have to compliment Dr. Srinivas Reddy for having organized this occasion, this program, and very meticulously gone into the detail of this. Wherever he has been, he has undertaken some new initiatives. Earlier he was in IIIM, Jammu, and under the guidance of Dr. Shekhar Mande and Dr. Kalai Selvi, he was the person who initiated what is now popularly known as the Purple Revolution. And soon after, when he came to IICT, he's undertaken this new initiative of setting up this Science Experience Center. And I must particularly also compliment and apologize at the same time to Dr. Kalai Selvi, because she is, I know how many of you know, she has a huge empire of 37 labs spread across the country. No, not very much less than Queen Victoria, and also she happens to be the first woman DG of CSIR after 85 years. So while I compliment her, why I apologize to her that I know in heart of hearts she was initially reluctant, at least apparently, to part ways with a part of this premises. It's just like, you know, asking a mother to share one of her 37 babies with a surrogate mother. But the trump card was played by Kishan Reddy ji. So I told Mr. Selvi, now since Kishan Reddy ji has taken it upon himself, and we have a commitment. And I'm glad that we have come together and also sought to give out a message that culture is incomplete without science, and science can't move on unless you are cultured. So you can't have uncultured people in science, and you can't have unscientific people patronizing culture. And therefore, I think this is going to add one more landmark to the achievements of the IICT, which is already known for its contribution to the agri-chemical industry. Also, I would say the agri-chemical startups as a part of the startup movement which is going across the country. The pheromone application technology, what is known it for in the integrated pest management, the hydrazine hydrate plant, the anaerobic gas lift reactor where we just now had the opportunity to visit. And above all, this institute has also emerged as a very rich source of pharma manpower to the pharmaceutical and the biotechnology industry of India. And Hyderabad, having developed as a pharma city, or perhaps one of the largest clusters of pharmaceutical in the world, this institution has an identity now of its own. As I said, each of the 37 institutes headed by Dr. Kalai Selvi has its own identity, own stream of specialization. And this institute in particular has now emerged as a specialized center catering to both startups as well as the industry in the area of pharmaceuticals and biotechnology. If you see overall in the CSIR, because the media is not in the habit of reporting much what is done in the scientific institutes, CSIR has come out with some of the first of its kind initiatives in the last few years. For example, it is this organization which came out with the first indigenous two-seater Hansa aircraft. It came out with the biojet fuel for aviation, the indigenous hydrogen bus which was developed by one of our Pune institutes, India's own footwear sizing system which was developed by one of our Chennai institutes, the earthquake-resistant seismic structures, the heen cultivation, and of course the purple revolution which I was just now referring from IIIM Jammu. Though it was not reported, but one of our Lucknow institutes has come out with a 108-petal lotus. Though the newspaper, the media didn't report it, but it won an award in Kaun Banega Crorepati. So what was not considered worth much reporting in the media was considered worth a couple of lakhs or a crore by Amitabh Bachchan. So that is the kind of recognition, and they have set up a selfie point there in Lucknow, which has become hugely popular. And it gives me also pride to say that, because if I don't say, who else would say? I have to pat my own back, my organization's back. During the ceremony at the Ram Mandir on the 22nd of January, it was the tulips from one of these institutes from Palampur which were offered. So that was one contribution. The earthquake seismic structures contributed to the construction of the temple were also from one of our institutions. And also the sunlight rays which fall there, though not strictly under CSIR, but one of the DST institutes which also happens to be a part of the same ministry. And therefore, when today we join hands with the National Council of Science Museums, I think this is going to also contribute. It's not only for the sake of publicity or for the sake of earning laurels for ourselves. I think this is also part of the outreach program and part of the public outreach which I think has been long desired for, because we need to create awareness among the masses about what all is happening inside the four walls. And we have tried this very vigorously of late. I was sharing with the DG, CSIR, and also Director Srinivas Reddy, when we had one of these agri-tech startup programs, I suggested to the director to invite farmers from the rural areas. And we had about 1,000 farmers, and we allowed them to speak. And they came out with the funny versions of their own myths and perceptions that they had. They said we would move through this institution every day, but we didn't know what is happening. Somebody told us there were ghosts dancing. Bhoot नाचते हैं रात को, क्योंकि दिन को साइंसदान वहाँ मेंढक काटते हैं. किसी ने कहा यहाँ अस्पताल है. So such a beautiful institution which is contributing to the world of science across the universe is not known among the people, and this is happening across the country. Similarly, we are having institutes located in one vicinity of 4-kilometer radius each, but we haven't integrated enough. We have made a conscious effort to do that also. We have 1 or 2 institutes which are dedicated particularly to drug laboratories, to the drug research, the pharma research. I suggested to them, why not only integrate in research, why also integrate academically. So I'm glad that we also engaged in an understanding with some of the medical institutes. Today, for the last 2 years, we have MD Pharmacology, MD Medicine, with co-guides from CSIR. Because the UGC guidelines say you have to have a guide from the parent institute, but you could have. So why didn't we think of all this? So unless we spread out, others would not know. And it's important for them to know because they are the stakeholders. How would they make use of this biofuel if they do not know what is happening? So, for example, in Dehradun, one of our the petroleum institutes started preparing that fuel from this, and they were getting the used oil from the corporation. I suggested, no, you get it from the housewives. So they were surprised why it was required. I said, why? Because you are paying 20 rupees per kg for the used oil. So when you go to the housewife and you tell her, कि बहन जी रात को तेल नाली में मत फेंकना, सुबह रखना, मैं 20 रुपए दे के ले जाऊंगा. So first day, second day, third day, she'll ask herself, who's this fool who's giving me 20 rupees for the oil which I would have otherwise thrown down the drain? And that will create awareness in the family among her children. So this is actually a part of the social. I think this is both science and culture, because ultimately if it's meant to bring the ease of living or ease of convenience in the life of a common citizen, this synergy is important. And as was being mentioned by Dr. Kalai Selvi, in the making of Viksit Bharat, I think it's almost impossible without science. As C.V. Raman once said that if India has to, and he said that 100 years back, if India has to progress, the only way is science, and still more science. And I think Prime Minister Modi, under him, we have realized that mantra of C.V. Raman. And if each and every citizen in this 140 crore population has to contribute in the making of that Viksit Bharat or the Century India of 2047, then how does he contribute without having a scientific temper? Because if the contribution has to be oriented through the medium of science, each citizen of this country has to be a scientific mind, regardless of whether he is an IITian or not. As I mentioned, many of our agri startups are not even graduates. So this is one more myth which has to be exploded. And the more we propagate ourselves, and I'm sure this gap which has existed there will be made up by this Science Experience Center, by this Science Museum, or by this Science Exhibit nodal area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your address. Whenever you're on this campus, it's a holy day for us. As the minister has some pressing assignments and he has to catch his flight back to Delhi, I request the Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture and Development of Northeast Region, Kishan Reddy Garu, beloved Science and Technology Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh. I request both the honorable ministers to kindly unveil this video. There will be an unveiling of a video which shows the glimpse of the Science Experience Center, which is going to be launched here. And we have the august presence of our Honorable Minister, Kishan Reddy Garu has unveiled. You can see the Experience Center would be coming up here in this campus. I request people standing in front of the podium to move aside, please. The minister wants to have a look. The farmer feeds the nation, the soldier protects the nation. And for the soldier to protect the nation, we need to have scientists like Dr. G. Satish Reddy as their support. And I request Dr. G. Satish Reddy, the former Secretary DDR&D, former Chairman DRDO, and former Security Advisor to the Raksha Mantri Government of India, to give his address. Ladies and gentlemen, Satish Reddy.
Namaskar. Honorable Union Minister Sri G. Kishan Reddy ji, Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, who was present here, the former DG CSIR, Dr. Shekhar Mande, the DG CSIR, Dr. Kalai Selvi, Srimati Mugdha Sinha, Joint Secretary, Government of India, and Dr. Srinivas Reddy, Director, IICT, and all the other eminent personalities who are present here, heads of various establishments, scientists, and others, namaskar to you once again. At the outset, let me thank Sri G. Kishan Reddy ji for taking this initiative and getting this Science Experience Center here in this part of Hyderabad. I also like to thank Dr. Jitendra Singh ji for providing the necessary support and discussing with the DG CSIR, Dr. Kalai Selvi, and together providing this space for the Science Experience Center. Particularly, if you look at this part of Hyderabad, as you come across this road, you will find number of establishments starting from NIN, IICT, CCMB, NGRI, then the other side just you have Bharat Electronics Limited, then again next to it you have the Nuclear Fuel Complex, next to it you have the ECIL, and then just go behind you have HAL and NRSC, and go other side you have little further, this forward, you have GSI and the defense laboratories. So many science and technology establishments are here in this part of Hyderabad, and the one which was not there was the Science Museum or Science Experience Center, which is becoming a reality today for Hyderabad. So we should all thank the honorable ministers for providing this opportunity to Hyderabad, which we had only the Birla Science Center till today. And the science and technology plays a very important role in the growth and development of a nation. And our nation has recognized it and felt it, and there are a number of steps which have been taken to see that the country progresses in science and technology very fast. Particularly first in the education, There are a number of institutes which have been created across the country. The IITs have come each and every state. Then the science side, ISIRs, Indian Institute of Science Education Research. These institutes have been created again across the country. And our academic institutes now are competing globally with the rankings, which was not there earlier. And if we look at, in the last 10 years, the type of thrust which has been given into the science and technology areas, large missions, critical missions have been taken up. If you look at the Chandrayaan mission or the Gaganyaan mission, which is going to happen, the Deep Ocean mission, or if you look at the quantum mission, which 6,000 crores outlay, or the National Research Foundation with about 50,000 crores over 5 years, providing the necessary thrust to the science and technology in this country. In fact, just a couple of days back, we have celebrated the National Science Day. The theme of this year's National Science Day was indigenous technologies for science, for Vikasit Bharat. So, indigenously, we need to develop the technologies and make the country grow in science and technology, making the nation prosper. If you look at that way, the country today is moving very fast, evolving itself in this area. The number of papers, if you look at globally, India stands at number 3 in the global area, that the number of publications what we are publishing is, we are standing as number 3. Similarly, if you look at the number of PhDs what India is producing, we again stand as number 3 achievements, the pharmaceutical field or the space field or the defense today, where we have been importing a lot, and now there is a turnaround that we are being exporters today. And so, now the goal before us is that India should lead the world by 2047 in science and technology. To have this mission, we need to inspire, we need to inculcate the scientific temperament in our youngsters and our children. And one of the important tools is to have a science museum or a science experience center where they feel, they experience, and they understand everything, and they get inspired, they get triggered, and they can come out with innovations in such a way that the world has not seen such innovations, such scientific outcomes. That is actually the trigger point, the inspiring point becomes the Science Experience Center. And so, this center, what is going to come up here, will be inspiring our youngsters who are actually moving up very fast today. What I am saying is, if you look at in 2016, the number of startups, which are primarily by the youngsters of this country, we had only just about 460 startups in this country. And today, the latest number in the country, the number of startups are 1,14,000 startups we have today in this country. That is the number. And it is growing continuously, if you see. So that is how our youngsters are coming up and evolving, coming out with globally competitive ideas and innovations which they are coming up and making themselves a cultural change in the country, which used to have only an ancillary unit culture. Today we have become a globally competitive mindset. So now we need to come out with first of its kind innovations and research outcomes. That comes out of the inspiration given by the Science Experience Center to have the scientific bent of mind. So once again, thanking the Honorable Ministers for approving, sanctioning here the Science Center, and Dr. Kalai Selvi for giving or facilitating the Science Centers to come up here. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy Garu, for your address. May I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, the Chairman of the General Body of the NCSM and the former Director General of CSIR. Please put your hands together for Shekhar Mande.
आदरणीय किशन रेड्डी गारू जी, डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, जिन्हें किसी काम की वजह से जल्दी जाना पड़ा, मंचासीन सभी गणमान्य व्यक्तिगण, इस सभागृह में उपस्थित सभी भाइयों और बहनों, जैसे कि मुग्धा जी ने हमें बताया, करीबन 2.5 साल पहले CSIR में एक कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया गया था, जहां पर NCSM और CSIR के बीच एक समझौता करार पे हस्ताक्षर किए गए थे। और उस वक्त किशन रेड्डी गारू जी और डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, उनकी गरिमामय उपस्थिति में ये कार्यक्रम हुआ था। और आज हम सब लोगों का सौभाग्य है कि आज भी जब हम भूमि पूजन कर चुके हैं और किशन रेड्डी गारू जी ने ये वीडियो का अवलोकन आप लोगों के सामने में किया है, आज भी आपके गरिमामय उपस्थिति में ये कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। जब 2.5 वर्ष पहले हम लोगों ने हस्ताक्षर किए थे ये समझौता करार पे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कल्चर और CSIR के बीच, उस वक्त दोनों महानुभावों ने हमारे सामने में एक विचार प्रस्तुत किया था कि हैदराबाद में, जैसे कि सतीश रेड्डी गारू ने हमें बताया, कई सारे वैज्ञानिक संस्थाएं हैं, जैसे CSIR की है, DST की है, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एटॉमिक एनर्जी की है, DRDO की है, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ स्पेस की है। हैदराबाद में बहुत जाने माने विश्वविद्यालय है, जैसे कि हैदराबाद केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय आप सभी जानते हैं, उस्मानिया विश्वविद्यालय है। एक कमी जरूर रह जाती है हैदराबाद में, और वो कमी ये है कि विज्ञान को हम जब आम जनता के सामने में ले आना चाहते हैं, उसके लिए जिस व्हीकल की आवश्यकता है वो व्हीकल हैदराबाद में उपलब्ध नहीं है। और इसी व्हीकल को हम लोग जिसे साइंस म्यूजियम, साइंस एक्सपीरियंस सेंटर, साइंस सेंटर कहते हैं, इसकी एक कमी जरूर रह गई थी। और ये विचार दोनों महानुभावों ने हमारे सामने में प्रस्तुत किया, और उसका संकल्पन आज हम लोग देख रहे हैं इस कार्यक्रम में, जब हम लोग भूमि पूजन कर चुके हैं। मैं किशन रेड्डी गारू और जितेंद्र सिंह जी दोनों का हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं और हार्दिक धन्यवाद देता हूं कि आपके मार्गदर्शन में इस कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया गया है। और मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सभी के आशीर्वाद से इसका पूर्ण तरह से अवलोकन जल्द से जल्द हम लोग आपके सामने में कर पाएंगे। आपको पता है कि हैदराबाद में जितनी सारी वैज्ञानिक संस्थाएं हैं, इन वैज्ञानिक संस्थाओं का देश निर्माण में एक बहुत इनकी अहम भूमिका रह चुकी है। आप लोगों में शायद किसी को पता होगा कि भारत का पहला नोबेल पुरस्कार जो है, नोबेल पारितोषिक भारत का, जिसका काम भारतवर्ष की भूमिका में हुआ है, अखंड भारत की भूमिका पे जो हुआ है, वो हैदराबाद में हुआ था। और नोबेल पुरस्कार 1902 में सर रोनाल्ड रॉस को मिला था, और वो काम हैदराबाद में हुआ था। आप लोगों को पता है, डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम को हैदराबाद को अपने बहुत हृदय से प्यार करते थे, और पूरा मिसाइल प्रोग्राम उन्होंने जो गाइड किया, चाहे वो दिल्ली से हो या कहीं से, वो हैदराबाद की लैब से वो जुड़े रहे। हार्ट वॉल में भी डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम का एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान रह चुका है। और आज हमारे बीच डॉक्टर सतीश रेड्डी गारू है, उन्हें हम सब अपने प्यार से उन्हें हम छोटा कलाम कहते हैं। सतीश रेड्डी गारू ने, इनका भी योगदान डिफेंस रिसर्च में एक बहुत अहम योगदान रहा है। और इसलिए अगर हैदराबाद को हमारे देश का विज्ञान की राजधानी कहना चाहेंगे, तो इसमें जो एक कमी रही थी, उस कमी को आज हम पूरा कर रहे हैं। हम सब लोगों के लिए बहुत सौभाग्य की बात है कि आज इसका अवलोकन हम कर चुके हैं, इसकी भूमि पूजन हम लोग कर चुके हैं, और हम मानते हैं कि बहुत जल्द ही ये साइंस एक्सपीरियंस सेंटर हैदराबाद में आप सब लोगों के सामने में उपलब्ध होगा। और मैं कहता हूँ कि उस वक्त हम सही तरीके से हैदराबाद को विज्ञान की राजधानी मान पाएंगे। आप सब लोग यहाँ पे आए, आप लोगों ने इस कार्यक्रम की शोभा बढ़ाई। आप सब लोगों का मैं हृदय से धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ, और अपने 2 शब्द यहीं विराम करता हूँ। जय हिंद।
धन्यवाद मांडे जी। సంస్కృతి, పర్యాటకం మరియు ఈశాన్య ప్రాంత అభివృద్ధి శాఖ మంత్రి గారు, మా తెలంగాణ ముద్దుబిడ్డ శ్రీ కిషన్ రెడ్డి గారిని సభను ఉద్దేశించి ప్రసంగించవలసిందిగా నేను కోరుతున్నాను. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for G. Kishan Reddy.
My colleague minister in Government of India, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, just now is left for Delhi. NCSM Chairman, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande ji, DRDO Maji Chairman, former Chairman and a former advisor, Defense Minister, Government of India, respected Dr. G. Satish Reddy ji, DG CSIR, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi ji, Culture Ministry Joint Secretary, Srimati Mugdha Sinha ji, CSIR-IICT Director, Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy garu, DG NCSM Sri Arjit Datta ji, Deputy DG NCSM Samendra Kumar ji, and all the senior officers and dignitaries, young students and girls, and my media friends, అందరికీ పేరు పేరున నమస్కారాలు. ఈ దేశమైనా కూడా టార్గెట్ లేకుండా ఏ కార్యక్రమం తీసుకున్నప్పటికీ కూడా లక్ష్యం లేకుండా, గమ్యం లేకుండా, పట్టుదల లేకుండా, కల్పన లేకుండా ఈ దేశం కూడా అనుకున్నటువంటి మరి గమ్యానికి మనం చేరుకోలేము. మనకు స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చి 75 సంవత్సరాలైంది. మనం ఎప్పుడు డెవలపింగ్ కంట్రీగా అమర్జ్ అవుతామో మన దగ్గర ఒక కార్యాచరణ ప్రణాళిక లేదు, యాక్షన్ ప్లాన్ లేదు. మన ముందు స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చినటువంటి అనేక దేశాలు కూడా చాలా డెవలప్డ్ కంట్రీగా ఎమర్జ్ అయినాయి. కానీ మనము 75 సంవత్సరాలైనా ఇంకా టార్గెట్ లేదనే ఉద్దేశంతో ప్రధానమంత్రి గారు వికసిత్ భారత్, డెవలప్డ్ కంట్రీగా మనం ఎమర్జ్ కావడానికి ఒక టార్గెట్ పెట్టుకోవాలనే ఉద్దేశంతో ఆయన ఈరోజు ప్రభుత్వం ముందే కాదు, ప్రభుత్వ యంత్రాంగం ముందే కాదు, యావత్తు 140 కోట్ల మంది ప్రజల ముందు ఒక మరి ఎజెండా పెట్టారు. అది వచ్చే 25 ఇయర్స్ ఎప్పుడైతే మనము దేశానికి స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చి 100 సంవత్సరాల పండుగ జరుపుకుంటామో, 2047 15th ఆగస్టు అయితే 100 సంవత్సరాల స్వాతంత్ర పండుగ జరుపుకుంటామో, అప్పటి వరకైనా మన దేశం ఒక డెవలప్డ్ కంట్రీగా, వికసిత్ భారత్గా, అభివృద్ధి చెందిన దేశంగా మనము ఎదగాలి అనేటువంటి లక్ష్యంతో ప్రధానమంత్రి గారు చాలా రకాలుగా ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నారు. ఒక 1 ఇయర్ నుంచి ఆల్ ది సీనియర్ ఆఫీసర్స్ అంతా కమిటీస్ వేసి కొంత యాక్షన్ ప్లాన్, ఒక గ్రామం ఎలా ఉండాలి, ఒక కుటుంబం ఏ రకంగా ఉండాలి, ఒక యూత్ ఏ రకంగా ఉండాలి, ఆ గ్రామంలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఫెసిలిటీ ఏంటి, ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ ఏంటి, అన్ని రకాలుగా ఒక కల్పన చేసేటువంటి కార్యక్రమం భారత ప్రభుత్వం తరఫున ప్రయత్నాలు జరుగుతూ ఉన్నాయి. ఒక దిక్కు దేశమంతా ఎలక్షన్ మూడ్లో ఉంటే ప్రధానమంత్రి గారు నిన్న మరి మా మినిస్ట్రీకి సంబంధించినటువంటి సెక్రటరీసు, టాప్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా అఫీషియల్స్ తోటి 7 to 8 hours బ్రెయిన్ స్టార్మింగ్, ఆఫీసర్స్ అందరూ కూడా మరి ఏ రకంగా మనము భారతదేశం ఏ రకంగా ముందుకెళ్ళాలి, ఏ రకంగా ఎమర్జ్ కావాలనే దాని మీద మరి చర్చ పెట్టడం జరిగింది. ఆఫీసర్స్ అందరూ చాలా పెద్ద ఎత్తున లాస్ట్ 6 months ఒక 3000 మీటింగ్లు చేసి అనేక మంది, లక్షలాది మంది యొక్క అభిప్రాయాల సేకరణ చేసి ఈ యొక్క వికసిత్ భారత్ సంబంధించి డెవలప్డ్ కంట్రీగా ఎమర్జ్ కావడం కోసం కావాల్సినటువంటి కార్యాచరణ ప్రణాళిక మా ముందు పెట్టడం జరిగింది. ఎందుకు చెప్తా ఉన్నానంటే ఈరోజు మన దేశం ఈరోజు ఒక యూత్ఫుల్ కంట్రీ. ప్రపంచంలో జనాభాలో మనం నెంబర్ 1, యూత్ పాపులేషన్లో కూడా నెంబర్ 1. కానీ ఆ యూత్ పాపులేషన్ను ప్రాపర్గా ఛానలైజ్ చేసి ఆ యూత్ పాపులేషన్ను దేశ పునర్నిర్మాణంలో, దేశ అభివృద్ధిలో, ఒక వికసిత్ భారత్లో ఒక డెవలప్డ్ కంట్రీగా ఎమర్జ్ కావడానికి వాళ్ళ యొక్క శక్తిని, మేధస్సును మనం ఉపయోగించుకోవాలి. ఈరోజు మన దేశానికి సంబంధించినటువంటి చాలామంది యూత్, అది సాఫ్ట్వేర్ రంగంలో కావచ్చు, హెల్త్ కావచ్చు, అనేక రంగాల్లో కూడా ప్రపంచంలో భారతదేశం యొక్క పేరు ప్రతిష్టలు మాత్రమే కాకుండా తమ మేధస్సు ద్వారా అనేకమైనటువంటి ఇంపార్టెంట్ పోర్ట్ఫోలియోస్ నిర్వహిస్తూ ఉన్నారు. కాబట్టి ఆ రకంగా ఇతర దేశాలకు వెళ్ళి వాళ్ళు టాలెంట్ చూపిస్తున్నప్పుడు మన దేశంలో ఉన్నప్పుడు మన దేశానికి సంబంధించి వాళ్ళ శక్తిని అంతా ఉపయోగించుకోవాలనే దృక్పథంతో ఈరోజు భారత ప్రభుత్వం అనేక రకాలుగా ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. అందులో ఈరోజు మన హైదరాబాద్లో కూడా ఆ కార్యక్రమంలో మరి ఒక అడుగు ముందుకేస్తూ భవిష్యత్తు భారతం అంటే చిన్నారులు, ఫ్యూచర్ ఇండియా అంటే మరి బాయ్స్ అండ్ గర్ల్స్, వాళ్లకు సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ రంగంలో భారతదేశం యొక్క ఖ్యాతిని విశ్వవ్యాప్తం చేయాల్సినటువంటి బాధ్యత మనందరిపైన ఉన్నది. అందుకే హైదరాబాద్ చరిత్రలో ఒక చరిత్రాత్మకమైనటువంటి రోజుగా ఈరోజు మరొక ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఇప్పటికే మన దేశంలో తెలుసు. మన హైదరాబాద్ నగరంలో కూడా డిఫెన్స్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్స్, డిఫెన్స్ రీసెర్చ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్, సైన్స్ రీసెర్చ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్, ఫార్మా రంగము, కెమికల్ రంగము, హెల్త్ సెక్టార్, ఇలా అనేక ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ ఈరోజు ఉన్నాయి మన దగ్గర. అందులో మల్టీనేషనల్ కంపెనీస్, సాఫ్ట్వేర్కి సంబంధించినటువంటి ప్రపంచంలో ఉన్నటువంటి అన్ని మల్టీనేషనల్ కంపెనీస్ సంబంధించినటువంటి ఇంపార్టెంట్ సెంటర్స్ ఈరోజు హైదరాబాద్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇటువంటి హైదరాబాద్ నగరంలో మనం ఈరోజు మరొక ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఈరోజు మనం తీసుకురావడము, సైన్స్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్. నేను మా ఆఫీసర్స్ అందరూ కూడా కోరుతా ఉన్నాను, ఈరోజు సైన్స్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్గా ఉన్నప్పటికీ రానున్న రోజుల్లో ఇది సైన్స్ సిటీగా మరి దాన్ని కన్వర్ట్ చేసి డెవలప్మెంట్ చేయాలనేదే మా లక్ష్యం. తప్పకుండా దురదృష్టం ఏంటంటే ఇది చాలా లేట్ అయింది. నేను గౌరవ ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారికి మీకు ల్యాండ్ కోసం ఇట్లా మేము సైన్స్ సిటీ ఏర్పాటు చేస్తాము అని చెప్పి చాలా ఉత్తరాలు రాశాను, ల్యాండ్ కావాలని. ఎందుకంటే ల్యాండ్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా దగ్గర ఉండదు, స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ సబ్జెక్టు. కాబట్టి అడిగితే చాలా రోజులుగా ల్యాండ్ రాలేదు. చివరకు జితేంద్ర సింగ్ గారితో మాట్లాడి మరి మనదే గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ల్యాండ్ స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇవ్వడం లేదు కాబట్టి మనకు ఈ యొక్క సైన్స్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్ అని పెట్టుకుందామని చెప్పి ఇక్కడ ఈ ల్యాండ్లో తీసుకోవడము. అది అనుకోకుండా మనకు మొత్తము సైన్స్కి సంబంధించినటువంటి ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ ఉన్న మధ్యలోనే ఈ సైన్స్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్ కూడా రావడము చాలా సంతోషం. ఇంకా ఇప్పటికైనా కూడా నేను మళ్ళీ కొత్తగా వచ్చినటువంటి ప్రభుత్వం కాబట్టి ఈ ప్రభుత్వాన్ని కూడా అడిగైనా సరే ల్యాండ్ తీసుకొని తప్పకుండా ఇక్కడ మనం సైన్స్ సిటీ హైదరాబాద్లో ఏర్పాటు చేసుకోవాలి. ఇది సరైనటువంటి సైన్స్ సిటీకి సరైనటువంటి డెస్టినేషను హైదరాబాద్ అవుతుందనేటువంటి అభిప్రాయంతో నేను వ్యక్తం చేస్తూ ఉన్నాను. ఇక్కడ మనకందరికీ తెలుసు, ఈ కేంద్రము హైదరాబాద్ రావడంలో సంపూర్ణంగా మరి అన్ని రకాలుగా ప్రధానమంత్రి గారు మరి అంగీకరించి సహకరించారు. వారు పెద్ద మనసుతో హైదరాబాద్ అంటే ఈ రకమైన సెంటర్ అంటే సరైనటువంటి డెస్టినేషన్ అని చెప్పి వారు అంగీకరించారు. నేను తెలంగాణ ప్రజల తరఫున, నా తరఫున, మా మినిస్ట్రీ తరఫున ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ గారికి, అదేవిధంగా మరి సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ మినిస్టర్ డాక్టర్ జితేంద్ర సింగ్ గారికి నేను ముందుగా హృదయపూర్వకమైనటువంటి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. ఈరోజు యువశక్తి విజ్ఞాన సామర్థ్యాన్ని మరింత పదును పెట్టి ప్రపంచాన్ని మరి జయించేందుకు ఈ సైన్స్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్ లాంటివి దేశంలో చాలా అవసరము. అందుకే న్యూ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీలో కూడా మనము ప్రతి స్టూడెంట్ కూడా ఏదైనా ఒకటి ఎక్స్ట్రా కరికులం యాక్టివిటీ తప్పకుండా చేయాలి. అందులో సైన్స్కి సంబంధించి రీసెర్చ్కి సంబంధించి చాలా ప్రాధాన్యత ఇస్తూ ఉన్నాం న్యూ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీలో. ఎందుకంటే ఈరోజు ప్రపంచాన్ని మనం శాసించాలి మన మేధస్సు ద్వారా అనేటువంటి పట్టుదల ఈరోజు భారతదేశంలో ఉంది. కాబట్టి దానికి మరి విద్యార్థులు ఉన్నప్పుడే వాళ్ళను మోటివేట్ చేయాలనే దృక్పథంతో ఈరోజు భారత ప్రభుత్వం న్యూ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీలో ఆ రకమైనటువంటి విధానపైన నిర్ణయాలు తీసుకోవడం జరిగింది. అందులో భాగంగానే ఈరోజు మనము ఈ యొక్క సైన్స్ సిటీ ఒక ప్రధానమైనటువంటి భూమిక మన తెలంగాణలో పోషించబోతుందనే విషయాన్ని ఈ సందర్భంగా మనవి చేస్తున్నాను. యువతలో సైన్స్ పట్ల మరి ఆసక్తి పెంపొందించాలి. ఆ దిశలో యువతలో మరి ప్రోత్సహించాలి. పరిశోధనాత్మక, సృజనాత్మక, సైన్స్ అండ్ భిన్నమైనటువంటి న్యూ ఆవిష్కరణలు తీసుకురావాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది. స్టార్టప్ కంపెనీలను ప్రోత్సహించాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. దానికి ఈ యొక్క సైన్స్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్ తప్పకుండా రానున్న రోజుల్లో యువతకు ఓవరాల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ విషయంలో ఉపయోగపడుతుందనే విషయాన్ని ఈ సందర్భంగా మనవి చేస్తున్నాను. కేంద్ర సాంస్కృతిక మంత్రిత్వ శాఖ ఆధ్వర్యంలో ఈ ప్రతిష్టాత్మకమైనటువంటి కార్యక్రమం స్కీమ్ ఫర్ ప్రమోషన్ ఆఫ్ కల్చర్ ఆఫ్ సైన్స్లో భాగంగా మేము మరి ఈ యొక్క CSIR-IICTతో కలిసి ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని ఏర్పాటు చేస్తూ ఉన్నాం. రాష్ట్రంలో మనకందరూ తెలుసు, ఇటీవలనే ఎఫోగ్రాఫిక్ మ్యూజియం కూడా హైదరాబాద్లో ఏర్పాటు చేసుకున్నాం. అదే కాకుండా సౌత్ ఇండియా కల్చరల్ సెంటర్ కూడా హైదరాబాద్ హైటెక్ సిటీలో భూమి పూజ చేసుకున్నాం. చాలా పెద్ద ఎత్తున అది కూడా నిర్మాణం జరుగుతుంది. ఒక దిక్కు సౌత్ ఇండియా కల్చరల్ సెంటర్, మరొక దిక్కు సైన్స్ సెంటర్. ఈ రెండు సెంటర్స్ హైదరాబాద్లో రావడము నిజంగా నాకు చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉందనే విషయాన్ని ఈ సందర్భంగా మనవి చేస్తున్నాను. మరి ఈరోజు మారుమూల ప్రాంతాల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి స్టూడెంట్స్ కానీ విద్యార్థులు కానీ మరి వాళ్ళను ఆసక్తి పెంపించేటువంటి ప్రయత్నము మొబైల్ సైన్స్ ఎగ్జిబిషన్ CSIR, CCMB సంయుక్తంగా డెవలప్ చేశాయి. అది కూడా రానున్న రోజుల్లో మరింత విస్తృతంగా అన్ని గ్రామాలకు తీసుకెళ్లేటువంటి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాం. అదేవిధంగా ప్రతి ఒక్కరు కూడా ఇంతకుముందు వక్తలందరూ చెప్పారు, సైన్స్ పట్ల విద్యార్థులు హై స్కూల్ ఉన్నప్పటి నుంచే వాళ్ళని పెంపొందించే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాం. సైన్స్ అంటే యాన్యువల్ డే చేసినప్పుడే స్కూళ్ళలో చేస్తారు, మళ్ళీ దాని గురించి మాట్లాడరు. అది కాదు. సైన్స్ అంటే ఖచ్చితంగా కొంతమంది అయినా విద్యార్థులను పూర్తి స్థాయిలో మన దేశానికి ఉపయోగపడేటువంటి పరిశోధనలు చేసే విధంగా వాళ్ళను మోటివేట్ చేసి మరి కార్యక్రమ ప్రణాళిక దేశ ప్రజల ముందు పెట్టేటువంటి ప్రయత్నము ఈ యొక్క న్యూ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పాలసీలో తీసుకురావడం జరిగిందనే విషయాన్ని ఈ సందర్భంగా మనవిస్తున్నాను. రేపటి తరంలో మనకు సైంటిఫిక్ టెంపర్ పెరగాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది. ఇందుకు మరి వారిలో ఖచ్చితంగా వాస్తవాలు ఏవైతే జరుగుతున్నాయో ప్రపంచంలో వాటన్నిటిపైన కూడా ఆసక్తి ఉండాలి. రీసెర్చ్ పెరగాలి, దీన్ని విశ్లేషించాలి, అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. భావితరాలకు తమ యొక్క ఈ యొక్క ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్స్ ద్వారా అందించాలనేటువంటి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉన్నాం. లేటెస్ట్ టెక్నాలజీస్ సచ్ యాజ్ AR, VR, MR will be utilized to make displays attractive, engaging, immersive and relevant for the young generation so that they can be attracted to pursue career in science and technology. Topics like artificial intelligence, robotics, etc. will also be part of the display. ఎందుకంటే ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ రానున్న రోజుల్లో ప్రపంచంలో చాలా కీలక పాత్ర పోషించబోతుంది. అన్ని రంగాలలో, ఇంట్లో వంట నుంచి మొదలు పెడితే మరి పరిశోధన వరకు కానీ, యుద్ధంలో ఒకవేళ యుద్ధాలే వస్తే యుద్ధంలో కూడా కీలక పాత్ర ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ ద్వారా చేరబోతుంది. కాబట్టి ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ అనేటువంటిది చాలా ముఖ్యమైనటువంటి పరిశోధనకు సంబంధించినటువంటి సెంటర్. దాన్ని మిస్యూజ్ కాకుండా ఏ రకంగా హ్యూమన్ సైకాలజీని మరి పెంపొందించేటువంటి ప్రయత్నం చేయాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది. దాని పట్ల యువతను మరింతగా మరి వాళ్ళలో ఇన్కల్కేట్ చేసేటువంటి ప్రయత్నము మన ఈ యొక్క సైన్స్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్ ద్వారా చేద్దామని చెప్పి మనం చేస్తూ, ఇన్ అడిషన్ ఇంటరాక్టివ్ హ్యాండ్స్ ఆన్ మైండ్స్ ఆన్ ఎగ్జిబిట్స్ ఆన్ వేరియస్ టాపిక్స్ ఆఫ్ సైన్స్ will be displayed in the fun science section to make various topics of science interesting and easy to understand. There will also be an outdoor science arc where science learning shall be through fun and entertainment. Fountains and a cacti and medicinal garden and a picnic area will be also developed available for family outings in the natural settings. There will also be separate area for innovative and creative activities for school students, a small library, conference room, and auditorium for conducting various science dissemination programs throughout the year in the center. With the help of the DRDO and ISRO and other like-minded institutions, we also propose to display several artifacts and scaled models for the local community, especially youth and students. I hope that with the setting up this Science Experience Center and similar facilities across the country, more and more youth and young children will be attracted towards the science and technology. This will be help our endeavor for Vikasit Bharat, developed country by 2047, fulfilling the dream of our Honorable President, Government of India. I thank my colleagues and especially my colleague Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, for joining hands with the Ministry of Culture for setting up this Science Center. I also thank officials from my ministry, CSIR, NCSM, and CSIR-IICT for taking this initiative to make this dream possible. Thank you once again. Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vijnan, Jai Anusandhan.
ధన్యవాదాలు మంత్రివర్యులు. Now it is a time to show our appreciation and token of love and gratitude to the Honorable Minister. I request Triya to get a memento, and I request both the Director Generals on the dais, Dr. Kalai Selvi and Dr. Ajit Chaudhary, to kindly do the honors of presenting the all-pervasive Shakti, Ma Kali, as a memento to our Honorable Minister for Culture, Tourism and Development of Northeast Region. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors. May I now request Shri Samarendra Kumar, the Deputy Director General of NCSM, to do the onerous job of proposing vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Samarendra Kumar.
Good evening and namaskar. Respected Honorable Union Minister for Culture, Tourism and Donor, Shri G. Kishan Reddy Garu. Honorable Minister of State and Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, who just left the dais. Respected Dr. N. Kala Selvi, Dr. Shekhar Mande Ji, Dr. G. Satish Reddy Ji, Srimati Mugdha Sinha, Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy, Shri Ardita Chaudhary, and distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, scientists, students and teachers from various schools, colleges, and friends from the media. It's really an honor for me to propose a vote of thanks. And I'm really fortunate, sir, because I was the signatory of the MOU when both the ministers were present, and Dr. Shekhar Mande was there. And today we have seen the seeds that the Science Center, we have laid the foundation of this Science Center. So I'm really fortunate enough for this event today. I thank from my core of heart the Honorable Minister G. Kishan Reddy Garu Ji for his valuable presence today, despite having a very busy schedule and laying the foundation stone of the Science Experience Center. Sir, your tireless effort in getting the land for this Science Experience Center, we have seen, sir, for the last 2-3 years, and we are really thankful, and a great round of applause for Dr. Kishan Reddy Ji for just talking to several ministries and getting the land for this particular Science Center. Sir, you have been the guiding force as the chairman of the Society of NCSM and for the spreading the message of science, awareness and promotion of culture of science. And we thank you for your presence here. I also thank Dr. Jiten Singh Ji, the Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, for his kind presence and words of wisdom. We hope that many such science centers and activities will set up in various CSIR labs in future. I thank Dr. Kalai Selvi, Madam, for her kind presence today. And we have been associated with CSIR for a number of projects, and we have already completed 2-3 projects and hope that some more science centers will come up in future in CSIR labs. Thank you, ma'am, for your gracious presence today. I thank Dr. Sekhar Mande, the chairman of our governing body of NCSM, for his valuable presence and his kind words. And you have been, sir, always the guiding force and guiding us through our governing body in attaining our objectives for promotion of culture of science and also conducting number of science communication activities throughout the country. So, and we hope that this guidance will be received in future also. I thank Dr. Satish Reddy ji for his kind presence here and for his valuable words. I think you have been as a role model for many of the youth who are present here today. And probably with your help, I think this Science Experience Center will be benefited and we will do many more things in this Experience Center, sir. I thank our Dynamic Joint Secretary, Ms. Mugdha Sinha, for her presence today from Delhi. She is here and who has always been keen to push the boundaries for NCSM in conducting, in taking up challenges in the science communication activities. Ma'am, I think thank you for your presence here and hope that you will guide us for many more such projects in the future. And also this scheme which we have been doing, we are revising this scheme and probably many more science centers will come up in the country very soon. I thank Shri A.D. Chaudhary, our DG NCSM, for his presence here, and he has been always a guiding force for us, taking up new projects, new challenges, and making science accessible to all. I thank Dr. Srinivas Reddy Garuji, Director CSIR-IICT, and his entire team, Mr. Venkat Mohan, Dr. Jagdish, Ms. Selja, and I think a lot of people who are involved in this project. A big round of applause for them for making this entire things done in very short time. Also the team from NCSM, our civil team.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता